I feel like a word that gets tossed around a lot in fatherhood is presence. Is he a present dad? Do you consider yourself a present father? Like, what is presence? I think when we use the word presence, it's oftentimes like surface level, because being present, you can live with your kids every single day of the year, 366 days on a leap year, and not be present, right? And so this video, I'm gonna break down what it really means to be a present father in my eyes, and the 4 areas of fatherhood presence that I truly try to embrace day by day. Sometimes I fall short, but I'm intentional about getting back up, giving myself compassion when it comes to this. Another thing that's funny about the word presence when it comes to fatherhood is it seems to me like it's a societal condition thing, right? It's like, is he a present dad? Like, no one ever asked that question about a mom. Like, is she a present mom, right? And so society has kind of used that term to kind of put dads in certain categories as fathers, which to me is really divisive, and it doesn't show any empathy at all. So let's go back though to the word presence, because it's very easy to say, I live with my kids, I see my kids half the month, I see my kids every day, I show up to things, I'm present. That's just a physical aspect. And even if you do live with your kids every day, half the month, you show up to things, you can still be there physically and not be present. And so this video, I'm going to break down 4 areas of presence that I think is highly important. The first one I'll touch on is physical, because that's the most common one we talk about. But the second one I'll touch on is spiritual. How are you showing up for your kids spiritually? Are you spiritually present? The third one is going to be mental. How are you mentally being present for your children? And the last one is emotionally. So we got physical, spiritual, mental, and emotionally. So when it comes to being physically present, it's very important that you know the difference between just being there and actually being present, right? And so, for example, if it's time to eat dinner, I tell my son all the time, put the electronics away, right? He just got a phone because he graduated 8th grade. That's great. Before the phone, it was the Switch. Before the Switch, it was the iPad. So there's always going to be some form of distraction that will keep a family in the same room, but not in tune with each other. And so if I'm at the dinner table with my son and I'm just like this on the phone, well, these days actually I have a flip phone. But anyway, if I'm like on the phone or something like that, I'm not being present. And let's say I do that every single day at dinner, every single night. That's hours and hours and hours of me not being physically present, like actually being present. Okay, and so we have to realize when we're with our kids, there's a difference between just being in the room and being present. One of the things I always preach is, find something that you know that your children enjoy and do that with them, right? Like, and really be locked in on that though. Whatever that thing may be, do it with them, put the phone away, have your mind, have your focus directly on what you and your kids are doing, even if it's just for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Over time, that matters for them, right? The more you show them that you care about what they care about and you actually want to be present with what they're doing, when they get to be adults, they're going to feel like they are confident adults, and they're going to feel like they are worthy. They have a lot of self-worth because the people who they looked up to the most felt like their time was valuable enough to be spent with them. Like my father, for example, I didn't get that, and I empathize with him, right? He's old school, he's Jamaican, he parented how he was parented, but he lived with us every day, but I wouldn't say he was physically present at all, right? And so we have to realize just because we're in the same room with them, it doesn't mean we're being present, right? And so how are you making use of that time together? Are you limiting distractions? That's really the biggest thing. Limit the physical, the external distractions, but the toughest part is to limit the internal distractions. There are times when I'm with my kids, we're all in the same room and my mind is elsewhere, right? Like we're in the same room and I'm literally thinking about work. I'm thinking about a video that I'm going to create, and hopefully people like it, or whatever the case may be, or maybe just my own melodrama. I'm thinking about while my kids really need me to be present for them, right? So we have to limit external and internal distractions to truly be physically present. Doesn't matter if you see them every single day, right? You can still be a non-present dad if you're just like an object, an innate object that's there running through the motions, right? Okay, limit the distractions, be physically present. The second thing is spiritual. Now, when I say spiritual, it's very easy to think, I mean, religious wise, right? And so whatever religion views you have, religious views you have, whatever religion you practice, that's great. I love that for everybody. This is more so about how are you showing up for your kids in ways that they know that we are all dependent on each other, right? Think about it that way when I say, are you spiritually there for them? How are you showing up for them that lets them know that how they treat themselves will reflect on how others treat them, right? That's deep. That's right, because that's the unseen when you think about it that way, right? They don't teach you that type of stuff, right? How are you showing them that everybody depends on each other? So if I come into a room with terrible energy, I have the ability to now drain someone else's energy, right? How are you showing them that being compassionate to all beings, such as the same way you are with their moms, their dads, their sisters, their brothers, right? Treat everybody that same way, because we all are interconnected. And that's what I mean by being there for them spiritually. Another big thing is I do this more so with my son because, you know, he's 14, teenage drama is happening, he's about to be in high school. I tell him all the time, our senses can only perceive, it's some crazy number that means less than 1% of what's really happening right now, right? And so what that means is stop clinging so tight to all the drama that's happening in front of you, because we joke around a lot. I tell him, like, this might not even be a mailbox, right? You see that thing, your senses say, oh, I remember that being a mailbox, and now it's a mailbox, right? Who knows what that is? You know what I'm saying? Like, our senses can only perceive but so much. And so what that means is have confidence, have fun in knowing that what's happening in front of you is just like the smallest fraction of what reality really is. So why take it so serious? Why cling to it so tight, right? And so that's an example of showing up spiritually for your kids. Like I said, it's nothing to do with religious, right? Like, it doesn't mean you have to pray with them and you have to do this. It's more so, how are you showing them that there's much more to life than their own desires? I think that's the greatest way I can end that category. How are you showing them that there is much more to life than all the things that they want? There's much more to life than their own happiness. Right? The third thing, I think I said it was going to be mental. Yes, mentally. How are we being mentally present? Mental presence is great because think about it this way. When you are venting to somebody, for example, don't you hate when most people just want to give you the answer? Like they're in fix mode. Fix. And you're like, actually, I just wanted you to like hear me out. Right? And so same thing, when we talk about being mentally present for our children, we're talking about like letting them tell you what's happening and you not going to fix it right away. Be mentally present. Listen to understand, don't listen to fix. Something else when it comes to being mentally present is like, yo, I tell my son this a good deal. I'm like, bro, how are you really feeling, right? We can skip the how's your day? Because guess what he's going to say? Good. Even my daughter, she's 4. I pick her up from summer camp. How was camp, baby? Good. Everything is just good. I know y'all relate to this, right? And so, like, the surface level questions are great. You have a good day? That's good. I'm happy for you. But how are you really feeling, right? My son recently told me a conversation, and and I felt really bad for him, and I could tell he was really hurt. And so I could have just easily been like, "You good?" And he could have been like, "Yeah." But I asked him, I said, "How do you feel?" Like internally, Honestly, how do you feel? How does this make you feel? That's a very good question to show up mentally for your children, right? And when I talk about all of these things, remember, we don't care about us in these moments. I'm not talking about how can you be more mentally better for your kids. No, how can you show up mentally? How can you show up to help facilitate their mental well-being? And so I would say the top two things is listen to understand. Don't just listen to fix. And the second thing is get past the surface level, really understand them. Ask them, how are they doing? How are they feeling? Where is your mind at? Where's your mind at right now? Like, what's bothering you? What is having you feeling not accepted these days? What's having you feeling like you want to cling or you want to run away from it? What are those things? And that's how you show up for your kids on a mental level. And the last one I think is one of the most important ones, only because it's important regardless, but because society kind of tells you they don't really embrace it, and that's emotional presence. Be there emotionally. And I just told the story a couple videos ago. My daughter was moving to Atlanta and we dropped her off to her mom, and my son and I cried in the car for 20 minutes, bawling. But that was an amazing experience for us because he was crying, and I could have easily done the dad thing and just been like, man, you good, bro, you good, we good, we good. No, I took that opportunity and I said, shoot, let me cry with you because I'm also sad. Like, how dope is that to be a man and to embrace this type of emotional connection with your 14-year-old boy, right? Just both crying because of shared sadness, right? And so that's an example of being emotionally present. Once again, I'm talking to you as somebody that's walking next to you, not from the top of the mountain, because there's some times that I'm not this way, but I'm intentional about trying to be this way. It's a value of mine. And so I would say the first thing about being emotionally present is just letting them know that it's okay. Whatever emotions they're feeling, welcome it, embrace it. Don't tell them to man up all the time. Don't tell them that they should be tougher now, or they shouldn't think this way about something. They should not let this thing make them feel this way. Like, there's a time and a place for all of that type of bro motivation, right? There's a time and a place for that. Usually, if we really want to get to the core of all of these issues and all of these things that we face as a family, I'm telling you, it's to let them feel like they can express their emotions, and you should just sit there and be a sponge and just fine, pour it on me, because how you're feeling right now emotionally is fine with me. There's nothing wrong with that. And I just lay it on me, right? And that's kind of how I view being emotionally present. I didn't want this video to be very long. I really just wanted to give you some quick, practical, day-to-day things that you can work on. And when it comes to being a present dad, but just remember, it's not just about being in the room. It's about being physical in the room, but with no or limited external and internal distractions. It's about being spiritually present for your children, letting them know that life is much more than what the eye meets, right? And how can they navigate that to show up for themselves and others, because that's what's really important, is how are we showing up for each other, because we're all interconnected. And the third one is about being mentally present for them, letting them vent, and you just not being in fix-it mode all the time, right? Be a vessel that they can just lean on. And the last one is emotional presence, right? So we got our physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional. I think those four are like the four pillars for all things, fatherhood. But when we talk about being present, I mean, sheesh, those are very, very important. And so if you related to anything I said in this video, drop a comment. If anything you found helpful, drop a comment. And head over to my website so you can check out my articles about all of these things. And yeah, man, I'm really excited to build community through this platform, and also my podcast folks that are listening. I'm always excited to build community, just giving out game like this, because it helps me as well. And I'll catch you all next week.